welcome to a new episode of the Splash Sisters. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Sean, and he has a very popular TikTok page. You guys may know him, or you probably do, at Danger Can't. Hey Sean, how are you?
Hey, Sean.
I'm doing great, y'all. How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Of
No
course, thank you for
problem.
coming on. Well, before we start, we just want to ask, can you tell the difference? Nev or Hana, which one is which?
All right. I feel like I feel like Hana's always sitting on the left, but I think Mev's on the left. I think Hana's on the right. Am I wrong?
Wait, which one's your left?
Okay, so I would say. Oh wait, now I want to switch. I don't know. Because I think Mev has the clear glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, you're ready?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
You're a
yeah,
true
so,
fan.
Job, Sean.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Sean, what got you into sports? Everyone knows you're such a big basketball fan.
So yeah, love basketball, favorite sport. I started playing it probably around like the first grade, and then just kind of grew up with it since. And then I probably stopped playing around my junior year of high school. I do track and field right now, so that's kind of my sport. But I have 3 older brothers, and they all love basketball, so just kind of grew up watching it and being around it with them. So
Oh, that's cool, basketball family.
You're like 6'4", right? Who do you compare a game to, like in the NBA, if you could?
so
Wow, you're tall. I didn't know you were that tall.
yeah, so I'm 6'4", but I play more like a typical big man, just because like high school and everything, I was usually one
Yeah.
of the tallest people on the floor. So if I had to compare, I'd probably say I'm more like a Chris Bosh, Draymond Green hybrid. I love playing defense, and I can kind of shoot it from outside. So
Stop.
Oh,
You're
literally
so right about
same.
that high school thing because I'm 5'4.5" and I played center.
yeah, it's how the high school circuit usually
It was
goes.
fun though.
So.
Well,
Yeah, but who's your favorite player, like favorite team? Who got you into the sport?
Well, if we're just going off like all time favorites, like I got some unique ones, but obviously LeBron, because I'm a Cavs fan, so LeBron won us a chip in 2016.
well, check out the jersey I'm wearing.
Yes, I mean it's dope. I saw that on Twitter. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, LeBron. If I just had to give a basic answer, but I got a lot of guys that I like. That's kind of unique. Like I'm a big Kevon Looney fan.
I
For
saw.
real?
Andre, yeah.
So
Uh,
low-key random.
Well, you were
but-
definitely happy in the playoffs then.
Yeah, I mean he's a beast, and I feel like he doesn't get much credit. I like guys like Brandon Ingram, Andre Drummond, big Drew Holiday fan. Just to name a couple of guys.
Didn't you play basketball with Andre Drummond?
Yeah, so I
That's
1v1'd him over the
crazy.
summer. He killed me, but it was a really fun experience.
That was funny.
It's funny how like so many basketball fans talk so much shit, but like if we ever played against an NBA player, we get destroyed.
Yeah, so like I talk shit on the internet, and then I mean I backed up my shit by going to play him, but no, he was a really cool guy. Just kind of dropped me off real quick.
Well,
Let's
if
get
there's any
into
NBA
it.
player I can beat, I know
Nobody.
it's Kendrick Perkins.
Big perk right
Because he
now.
can't even dribble.
Bev, what would you say? Who's the player that you think you could beat?
Honestly,
Well, she's kind of terrible, so
I'm not terrible. You stupid. I literally beat you every time we play 1v1. Liar. I think I could beat Raymond Felton.
Raymond Felton. Yeah, I mean he's looking kind of big these days. Not to body shame.
I think
or
I
anything,
could. I
but
could be
Wow.
his ass. I'm sorry.
you could probably run
He's
circles
thick.
around him.
No shame.
he's a Knicks legend. Respect him. Anyways, what team do you support?
Yeah, so I'm a big Cavs fan. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
I'm from New Jersey, but all of my brothers actually are big Cleveland sports fans. So I kind of just grew up liking them as well. Just
Do you
watching
guys
what
want
they
to
were
suffer?
I mean, Cavs are looking up right now, but I mean, in other sports, it's not looking too hot. But there were some down years for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I started being a fan like right around LeBron's last year before he left for the first time to go to Miami. And I remember
Mhm.
I was probably in like first grade at the time, and I had a LeBron jersey. And I remember when he left, I gave it to my mom and told her to throw it away, kind of get rid of it.
Aw.
So,
No.
we've had some down years, but things are looking up.
Hopefully
Well-
LeBron goes back.
Yeah,
Well,
if
I've
he
always
can
been-
retire Cav.
We've always
that
been
would be dope.
LeBron fans, and I've been a Knicks fan, but with LeBron, he's like his own team to me. I always support him wherever he goes.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah, it's respectable.
Do you think the Lakers have like any chance to win this year?
I mean, they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. They had some injuries. Obviously, LeBron had that foot thing, but they're one of the
Yeah.
deepest teams in the league. They added guys like Christian Wood, Cam Reddish, Jackson
Torian Vincent.
Hayes, Torian Prince. So they got a lot deeper. They still
Mhm.
kept that core 3 or 4: Reeves, D'Lo, LeBron, and AD. They got some tough competition out east. Do I see them getting over a team like the Celtics or the Bucks? It's tough to say,
Yeah, I
but
don't
I
know.
would say anything's possible. I think they're definitely in the running, especially if everyone can stay healthy.
Yeah, I definitely see them coming out of the West. I think they could be any team in the West because they got better, and I don't think anyone else got better in the off season.
Yeah, I mean
in the
the
West,
Nuggets, they lost a couple guys. I'm not particularly high on the Suns. The Mavericks
Yeah, me
defensive issues are still there. And then the Warriors, not a big Steph Curry fan.
We're like
I,
the same person.
I think the Warriors are gonna start on a little downtrend. The Lakers, so far, you can make the case that they are the best looking team out west.
Yeah, especially if LeBron and AD don't get hurt, nobody can stop them. I'm sorry. Absolutely
Yeah,
nobody.
they're arguably the best duo in the NBA when they are healthy, especially like AD. If he actually plays, there were stretches last year where he would put up like 40 and 20 games every night. So yeah, it's definitely possible.
Well, I think AD is the best defensive player in the league by far. So I hope he wins Defensive Player of the Year. But like he's always injured.
But like
Yeah.
you see him playing preseason games, like I feel like this is finally the year where he might not get hurt. Hopefully. We pray.
Well, let's start about award predictions for next season. Let's start at MVP. Who do you think will win, Sean?
Yeah, so MVP, I was thinking about it before I got on here, and I kind of narrowed it down. I think it's going to go to one of these three guys. It's either going to go to Tatum, Jokic, or Giannis. I could see it going to a guy like Luka, but I don't think the Mavericks will have the team success to kind of bolster an MVP discussion like it would with Giannis or Tatum or Jokic. But if I had to give it to one, I think this is the year that Tatum wins it. I think it is, especially with the new pieces around him. They'll win a lot of games, and he'll put up the stats to do so. But eventually, he will fade out in the playoffs like he always does.
Yeah.
So is what I'm expecting. So
I definitely agree with you with that. I think Tatum will put up the stats that he usually does, and the Celtics have the best looking team that they've had since Tatum got there. But I have a feeling they'll give it to Jokic because like everyone's like Jokic got robbed, and like the narrative might like factor into it for next season. That's why I feel like they might give it to Jokic, but it's gonna be a tight race. Like there's so many good players who will fight for that.
I mean, if Jokic averages another triple-double, they're giving it to him. There won't even be a competition. But again, Giannis just got Dame. They're probably going to have a really good record. I don't know.
I think Giannis, he's the best two-way player in the league, defense and offensive side of the ball, which is why I did a top 5 player prediction video a couple weeks ago. I said Giannis was the best player in the league, even though it's really close between him and Jokic. I just think a healthy Giannis, what he brings on the defensive side of the ball, kind of gives him the edge over Jokic. And that's not to say Jokic is a bad defender by any means, because he's not. I think he gets shit on a little bit too hard for him on defense, but I think Giannis is the best player in the league, and I think if he stays healthy, he could win another MVP.
Yeah, honestly, I saw ESPN did like a ranking, and they put Giannis first and Jokic second, and there was like a lot of outrage, and I really didn't agree with it because I agree with you. I think Giannis has like a really good case to be over Jokic, and people were thinking like it's like evil for putting him over Jokic, but Giannis is like crazy on both ends, especially defensively. The gap is so big between him and Jokic, so and he's also averaging 30 like it's nothing. So I think Giannis could be the best player in the league. It definitely is between both of those two.
I don't know. I feel like Giannis would be the best player in the league if this was like 2 years ago. But now Jokic is the best player in the league.
I mean,
like nobody even comes close to Jokic anymore. Like it's unfair.
Stop. That's disrespectful to Giannis.
He literally lost in the first round to an 8 seed. I don't want to hear anymore. Like I'm telling you about like he like what's the word? Proves himself again, I guess.
He doesn't need to prove himself. He won a championship. He won an MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, 2 MVPs, and he gets the Bucks to the first seed like every year. I mean,
we don't care.
He got injured, by the way. The Heat would have got
did
smacked.
Get injured last year,
if he never got injured.
He still lost an 8 seed, and Jokic won the title. So that means Jokic is the best player in the world. I'm sorry.
First of all, the Heat had like some black magic. They shouldn't have got all the way to the finals.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It's kind of crazy. They did drop off the Knicks, right, in the second round? Didn't that happen? Yeah,
that was bad.
Good vengeance for my Cavs. I was happy that happened.
Hana tweeted something like, the Heat aren't as good as everyone thinks. Like, the Knicks are better beforehand. And people were just, like, coming back to her tweet because Julius Randle ended up doing what he always does and shooting the bed. So
with Julius Randle, he puts up 25 and 10 in the regular season, and then he puts up, like, 13 and, like, 7 in the playoffs. Like, it, like, pisses me off.
He literally made All-NBA, and he was looking like Kendrick Perkins in the playoffs. Like, it makes no sense.
Let's not talk about that. It's going to get me so mad.
The only bright side on the Knicks that I like, I'm a huge Jalen Brunson fan. They brought in Dante DiVincenzo. They have Josh Hart. They have all the Villanova boys. But when it comes to guys like Randall and RJ Barrett, they're a little too inconsistent for my
chill
taste.
on RJ.
I'm sorry, but RJ hasn't improved since his rookie season. He's a new Ben Simmons of like this era. Like
I mean,
yeah, stop.
I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, even against the Cavs, the first 2 games he played, he was looking like a worse version of Ben Simmons. But then I mean, he turned it up. He's like a poor man's Jason Tatum, and I mean a really poor man's Jason Tatum because he's just very inconsistent. But I mean, he's still young. He can turn it up whenever.
The thing with RJ is
he's like 28 years old.
The thing with
like,
RJ is if you watch like a lot of games, he starts off like 9 for 9 in the field goal, and then he ends the game off less than 50% from the field.
Yeah,
he always just misses after he makes his first couple of shots. Doesn't make any sense.
So you have Tatum as MVP, Sean. Hana, you have Jokic.
Yeah,
I have Jokic too. I think Jokic is gonna win it.
lame. Say someone different.
If I don't have to pick Jokic, I'm picking AD.
Damn.
If AD plays the limit of games and the Lakers are like
65.
the first, second seed,
If he just stays healthy, it's possible.
because you saw how he played against the Grizzlies in the playoffs. He destroyed them on defense and offense. Like, they could not stop him.
This is what I will say about AD. If LeBron, as a 40-year-old, still has to carry his ass, I'm going to get so mad. LeBron should not be the best player on the Lakers team as a 40-year-old. AD needs to get off his glass ass and be the best player. That's it.
Yo, chill.
No, as a LeBron fan, I'm sick of him getting injured because he has to carry the Lakers' load. Because AD does not play that many games. It's frustrating.
That's true.
He literally plays more games than a lot of people, but people
he
just
doesn't
give him the title that he doesn't play games.
And
like,
never
calm down.
Forget, in the playoffs, AD would have like a monster game. The next game, he'd drop like
15.
10 points.
Yeah.
No, he needs to be consistent. He needs to play like the superstar that he is, period.
The only thing is his inconsistency.
And LeBron's title window is closing as time goes on.
It's true. I mean,
This is a last chance.
41 years old. I would say this is one of the best Lakers teams he's seen besides his 2020 team, obviously.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I don't like how he has to carry and drop 30 points a night on a bum ankle and getting injured every night. But if AD can stay healthy and kind of muscle that load on his back, I think the Lakers can do it. But LeBron
he doesn't have to carry anymore. He has Rui, Reeves, AD, Taurean Prince. I was gonna say
the Lakers got better,
Christian
and they made
Wood,
the
but he
Western Conference
stinks.
Finals. So there is promise there. And for me, I feel like the Celtics don't move me as much because I feel like their bench is non-existent, like literally non-existent. There's literally no one coming in.
When you look at the teams out east, you can say, like, even the Bucks, for example, you could say they're kind of top heavy. I think you compare the Bucks and the Celtics kind of have that front court.
Yeah.
I feel like with Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Chris Stapps, and then if they start Al Horford, I think that's a very, very complete team. And if Jason Tatum can not be as inconsistent as we've seen in playoffs past, I really think they could win a championship. But until then, Jason Tatum is not a superstar, and he's overrated. So.
You don't think he's a superstar?
Yeah, so
either.
I think my definition of a superstar is a player that I think can lead his team to a championship while being the best player on his team. And although I think Jason Tatum can get to that point, and I think he could be at that point this season, I don't think in the past he's been that to where I could say Jason Tatum is a superstar. I think there's very few superstars in the league. Like a guy like LeBron, like a guy like Steph, that's a superstar. So I wouldn't really put Tatum up there with that upper echelon, but I think he can. He has the potential to get there.
Let me guess. Your superstars are LeBron, Jokic, Curry, Giannis, Kawhi?
The Kawhi situation's so hard because when he does play, he's awesome. He doesn't play, so it's kind of hard. I mean, KD has those two Mickey Mouse rings, but KD is definitely there when he's healthy. But his time window to win a chip is running out. But I would say guys like KD and Kawhi are kind of on those outer ring. But the guys you mentioned before, Giannis, Jokic, LeBron, Curry, those are all solidified superstars in this league.
I agree. And I was arguing with morons on Twitter, and they're trying to tell me LeBron isn't top 10 anymore.
Yeah,
Where do you rank LeBron right now?
I would rank LeBron at 5 in my top 5. I think
smart man.
His basketball mind and everything that he does bring at the age that he's doing it, the way he bolsters the team, I think you need to have him in the top 10 for sure. If you have him anywhere from that 5 to 10 range, I think that's fine. You don't need to have him in your top 5, but for me, it's just the way he can get his teammates involved, the way he can boost his teammates' play, and then what he can do on both sides of the ball. I think he has to be top 5, and I haven't seen anything yet that tells me that he's not. So
exactly, like he averaged almost 30 points last season. I'm pretty sure like 8 assists, 8 rebounds, something like that, around that stat line, while leading his team to Western Conference Finals. So I don't understand what people's criteria is, but this man averaged nearly 30. He did average 30 like most of the season, but then like got injured, so it went down. Like at every player's best, LeBron is top 3 at this moment, in my opinion. Like when they play the best that they can.
Yeah, I think in the top three, I'm not saying that's a stretch, but when I look at the guys, my top 3 right now would be Giannis at 1, Jokic at 2, and then I have to put Embiid. I have to put Embiid in at number 3 because you can't.
I did not expect that.
I think obviously last year was a little bit of a pity MVP. I think Jokic should have gotten it. But if you win
Oh,
an
really?
MVP, I think going into this season, you're obviously a top 3 player in the league if you won the MVP last season. So that's why I put him in that number 3 spot.
Yeah, for me, it's tricky. LeBron isn't top 3 for me. I think LeBron is like 6th or 7th. It's tricky with Embiid because he averaged like 33 points per game last year. Great defense, great rebounding. And I'm pretty sure that he averaged the most points by a center since Shaq, which is a crazy accomplishment. But when it comes to the playoffs, he averages like half those stats. So I can't really put him top 3 until he can have like a signature playoff run or something like that. I want him to have the same production that he has in the regular season in the playoffs for me to put him like in that top tier players.
Yeah, I agree with the playoff run. I think playoffs are extremely important. That's why I kind of group him, Tatum, and Luca kind of all in the same group. We need an elite playoff run. I would like to see because those are all guys that I think can lead a team to an NBA Finals. It's more unique with Tatum because in the past he's had a lot better teams than those 76ers and Mavericks
Yeah.
teams, and he hasn't gotten it
He
done
always
yet.
has.
So I give more criticism to Tatum, but they're kind of all in that same boat where you don't really get it done in the playoffs, or you kind of fade out. Like
Yeah.
Embiid got carried by Harden a little bit, or vice versa. But I think
But
he
also
won an
Embiid was
MVP.
injured.
That is true, but he won an MVP, so I think I gotta keep him at top 3 going into the season. Obviously, that can change, but going into it, if you're the reigning MVP, you got to be in the top 3 at least.
Yeah, he's definitely top 5 for me. I put Curry at number 3, like
Yeah,
after
so
Jokic and Giannis.
I got a lot of hate because I think I put Curry at like number 6. I put Luca at number 4
Jeez.
because going into the season, I also didn't have Tatum in there. I'm really high on Luca.
Luca's
I
better
think-
than Tatum, Booker. People that everyone compares him to on a daily basis, he
Facts.
clears. I don't even know why he's in the same conversation as Booker, Tatum, even Curry. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Curry and him are close, but yeah.
When it comes to the Tatum conversation, like I said, he's had these such great teams and he hasn't been able to get it done yet. And obviously, there's been injuries like last year. Malcolm Brogdon was injured, and there's the whole context that goes around it. But that happens to every team in the NBA. You don't get a pass for that. But I think if you were to put a guy like Luca on those Celtics teams, I think Luca would be able to get it done, and I think the Celtics would have a championship by now.
That's a
That's
great
true.
take,
Also,
yeah.
Tatum is really young. When
Celtics-
did LeBron win his first ring? He was like
27.
26,
Probably
27.
27, 28.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was
so
27.
I feel
But-
like Tatum has like a year or two to like really get it done, or people are gonna really start slandering him like a lot more.
Like, I know Celtics fans will get really defensive over that take because they'll be like, oh, like, fit matters, this, that. And, like, come on, like.
I just think Luca is the better player. Luca's a phenom, but when you look at the teams, I don't think he's had the teams to where I can say that's an NBA championship team right there. I've looked at Jason Tatum's teams. I'm like, that's an NBA championship team. You as the best player, you got to take him to the finish line.
Yeah, especially this year, they're kind of stacked. Just all like top heavy, like you mentioned before. In the East wise, they can beat the Bucks, so it's between them and the Bucks. So they have no excuse not to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Sure.
Well, let's move on to Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you think?
Defensive player of the year. I mean, a lot of great guys, but I'm gonna go with the guy that I think should have won it last year, and that's Evan Mobley.
Oh,
for my
Evan
Cavs.
Mobley.
Why do you think he should have won?
I just think he was the better all-around defender other than Jaren Jackson. I mean, I don't have the stats pulled up. Also, could just be my bias. I watched a lot more Cavs games than I think Grizzlies games last year. But I think Evan Mobley, how young he is and the defensive impact that he made for the Cavs, I think he should have won it. The Cavs were also top 5 defense in the league last year. They might have had the best defense in the league at one point some year, and he kind of anchored that along with guys like Jared Allen and Isaac Okoro. But I think he's going to take a jump this year, and I think he's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year.
I agree with you. I think he'll win just because Anthony Davis will probably not play enough games. So I think I do agree with that. Do you think Draymond is still an elite defender? Because I feel like a lot of people are like saying he's still the best defender in the league, but I don't agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, he definitely still has that impact, and I think the presence that he brings to the court on the defensive side of the ball is still there, and it's still at an elite level, but I would say it's not what it was when he was winning Defensive Player of the Years back in the early mid-2010s. But yeah, he's still one of the best defenders in the league, and I think he will be until he retires, especially in that Warriors system, because that's kind of what he bases his game off of. He's that Warriors defensive anchor.
One thing I'll give him is no one's better at stopping on other people's chests.
And faces.
Yeah, I mean, dirty player, but sometimes it's what you got to do to win.
I think he's been more important for the Warriors than like Clay during their run. Like, who do you think was like more important in their run, Clay or Draymond?
It's an interesting question because the reason why the Warriors didn't really do too well last year is because they didn't really have a guy that led that bench unit. They experimented with guys like Draymond coming on with the bench unit to try and do that. But when Steph and Draymond are on the floor together, it's a 1-2 punch because you have that guy on the defensive side of of the ball, and you have this offensive weapon on the other side. And then I think it's not to discredit Clay's game, but during those runs, it's also hard to say runs because they got Kevin Durant, so it's like they had that 1 year, and Curry's not clutch, inconsistent in big moments. I would say Draymond is more impactful just because in like 2015, 2016, 2017, his offense was great. He could shoot the lights out of the ball, and he could play amazing defense on the defensive side of the ball. So I would probably have to go with Draymond over Clay.
I think Clay was that guy that can play like absolute shit and get away with it because like they would win, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I feel like you see that more nowadays. He had a couple games in this year's playoffs where it was like,
oh my
yikes,
God.
why aren't we shitting on him?
Clay got a lot of slander. They're saying we can't call him Game 6 Clay anymore because he's had too many Game 6 stinkers.
There were a lot of moments like that, and then especially back in the day too, obviously more now than then. Yeah, I would still have to go with Draymond on who makes that bigger impact.
Hannah, who do you think is Defensive Player of the Year?
Anthony Davis. I think he's the best defense player in the league, so he should win. He should have won over Giannis that 1 year, to be honest,
I mean,
but he didn't.
So Giannis won it 2019, 2020. Yeah, I mean, AD, when he's healthy, he's an elite defender. He can get you 3 blocks a game, but the health is a big issue, which is why I think he won't get it. But it's very possible. He says he wants to play 82 games this season, which is kind of crazy. Hats off to him. Hope he can do it. That would be awesome to see. Do I think it's going to happen? Definitely not. But if it does, he will 100% be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's probably those two. Jaren Jackson Jr. Celtics probably got a guy. Derek White probably going to be around there.
Derek White, dark horse. I could see it.
He's really good.
He is.
But
one of the most underrated players in the league.
Agreed. When I saw his bald head, I was like, is this Photoshop? But it wasn't. I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
He's on one this year.
I feel bad. He was kind of bullied into that. But
why?
Really? Yeah, because I mean...
Because his hairline?
I mean, his hairline's bad, but even like the guys on TNT, Shaq, Kenny, Ernie,
they're ruthless. Oh my God.
They killed him. He'd have one of the best playoff games of his life, and then he'd have to go post game of him getting shit on for his hairline. I don't know. I think it looks
great
better.
Great game, but your hairline.
Yeah,
you gotta go fix that.
What's the next award?
Wait, so I didn't say mine.
I thought you did,
but it's AD for obvious reasons. Like
what about Alex Caruso?
He's washed. He was a LeBron product.
No, he was the best guard defender in the league last year, and I think he will be again. But I don't think he's gonna do the type of stats to win Defensive Player of the Year. Definitely first team, all defensive NBA. So.
I think usually bigs are a lot more impactful than guard defenders. So when Marcus Smart won the other year, I was like, no. But...
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people that put asterisks next to Marcus Smart winning it, but at the end of the day, it comes down. He is one of the best defenders in the league, and it was great by the Celtics that they replaced him with Drew Holiday.
Like, was Mikal Bridges not a second in that? What was going on that year?
They just were sick of Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
They go back to France, dude. That's probably what they were saying. Most improved player.
Most improved. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Mikal Bridges is a guy that can win it. I feel like center for the Rockets, Alperen Sengun, my twin Josh Giddey. But who I really wanted to win. I really want Ben Simmons to win it, so that's gonna be my pick for the most improved.
I'm gonna be mad as hell if Ben Simmons was that, bro.
Some people have like such a hatred for Ben Simmons. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I mean,
hatred towards him, but like this guy, man.
If anything, Ben Simmons is the least improved player.
Well, yeah, over the years
he was last year in my NBA Ass Awards.
I don't think he's gonna get back to like his all-star form that he was a couple years ago. But I think from what the small stint of him we've seen in the preseason, I think he could get to that point where he give you 15, 6, and 7 on any given night off of decent efficiency. So I think he could win most improved player there.
Yeah, I think Ben Simmons did look a little different. He looked a little more explosive. So I see it. My pick is Quentin Grimes. Because I feel like he might establish himself like as a third star on the Knicks. Just because he's like our best shooter, to be honest. He's lights out from 3. And he's a really good defender as well. So I think he can win. What about you, Matt?
I think I'm going to choose Cade Cunningham. I think he's a dog. Like, they left him off the USA team. They had a bunch of mid players over him, and then they played him, and he destroyed them. I think he's, like, one of the best young players in the league, and I'm really high on how good he can be. So, yeah, I think he's just going to bring the Pistons to, like, the play-in level. I don't know. I think he's that good. What do you think, Annie? Sorry, I just called you Annie. I call her Handy sometimes,
I
but like
think-
I've never called her. But like, what do you think?
Well, I think he's not really most improved just because he barely played last year. And he did average like really good stats in the short amount of games he played.
But that's the thing. If he plays a lot more games and averages a lot better stats, he can win it.
He could win. For me, I feel like number 1 overall pick should not win most improved player.
You don't think they should be
Because-
eligible?
No, because they should be playing this way. They were the first
should be
overall
that
pick
good.
for a reason. Yeah, like
Yeah.
John Morant when he won most improved player, I was like, dude, come on. Like when Brandon Ingram won most improved player, I just
Yeah,
didn't
but
agree
I
with
mean,
it.
guy like Cade, he's coming off a season where I think he averaged like 19, 6, and 6.
Yeah.
If he could become a player that can give you 25 a game, even like 24, 23 a game with those same 6 and 6 numbers off good efficiencies, and like he can lead the Pistons past the play-in, maybe like a lower seed 7 or 8, I could definitely see him in the running for that.
Exactly.
I like most improved players more like Lauri Markkanen. When like
Yeah.
everyone thought he was like ass almost out of the league, and then randomly he's an all-star starter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I prefer for most improved player.
It's not his fault. Jim Boylan, eggheads, shoved him in the corner and made him be a spot-up shooter when he's more than that. I literally so annoyed.
Yeah,
He
but
could have
like
been
Lauri
so much
Markkanen
better.
shocked the world. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a huge Lauri Markkanen fan. I mean,
Me
when he was
too.
on the Cavs, I was a little harsh to him, but Cavs didn't use him right. He found his spot on the Jazz, so good for him. But yeah, I do agree. Kind of a player who not on his way out, but people were counting him out, and he
Yeah.
came back and he was an all-star starter, like you said. So
I think Quentin Grimes is gonna be an all-star star. I'm kidding.
Are you a Delulu?
But he's really good.
You're a little Delulu right now.
Delulu.
That's what you are.
Anyways, 6th man of the year. It's Emmanuel Quickly, and he should have won
IQ.
last year, but he didn't.
I gotta think. Who would be my 6 man? Malcolm Brogdon won it this year, I think.
Yeah.
He's not going to be on the Trailblazers any longer. I think they're going to trade him away. I want the Warriors to do this. I want them to bring Chris Paul off the bench, and I think Chris Paul could 100% win the 6 man of the year award.
I don't want him to do that because I want Emmanuel Quickly to win.
Big
Chris Paul, shouldn't
Knicks
he come off
train.
the bench though? I feel like it's weird to have him starting.
I think he should come off the bench because the big problem I mentioned earlier, their problem last year was they had no one to lead that bench unit, and that split up the minutes between Draymond and Steph. So when you bring in a guy like Chris Paul, you shouldn't run a small ball lineup with a guy like Andrew Wiggins starting at the 4. You just shouldn't do that. Or they mentioned Clay guarding the power forward, which I was like, that's really stupid. You should have Chris Paul coming off the bench. But at the end of the day, I'm not the coach. I'm just the person that watches and criticizes them for doing something.
Yeah, I
stupid.
think you're 100% right. That just makes sense. Like, it should be their normal starting 5. Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney. And then their bench, Chris Paul, and Moses Moody. Who else do they have?
Jonathan Kuminga.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who their backup bigs are, but yeah, they have all those guys.
They got Rudy Gay, right?
Something happened with Rudy Gay. I think they might have released him. I think I saw something on Twitter
Yeah, they
today
did.
with Rudy Gay.
What the hell? They should have kept him. He's good. Well, role player wise.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I think the
Iggy
Warriors
just
are
retired.
pretenders, to be honest. I think they're gonna win games, and like all their fans are gonna go crazy, and then they're gonna be a first round exit, in my opinion.
Did you see Chris Paul said that he guarantees that the Warriors are going to win the in-season tournament?
Like that matters.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, you win
I'm-
money, but
I guess
They
I'm
have
not
enough of
that
it.
high on the in-season tournament. It's just something that will rack in views for the league.
Yeah.
They win
I
it,
feel
who
like
really
we
cares?
as NBA fans should be more excited and should hype it up more.
It just
Like,
seems
everyone's
like
like, I'm not watching that shit.
like I've seen them try to explain it so many times, and like I understand it, but I would say to just like people who are just like casual fans will look at that and have no clue what's going on, and you need to
Yeah.
cater to the casual fan to tune in for a regular season basketball game.
Yeah.
It's just there. Like, no one's gonna say in 10 years, oh well, LeBron added to his resume list, he won the 2024 in-season tournament. Like, no one really cares.
Yeah, like it's not going to be a momentum shifter and GOAT debates.
Okay, guys, just let Chris Paul be excited about winning his first ring. Okay. I didn't say my sixth
I
man
like
of the
Chris
year.
Paul though. What?
I didn't say my sixth man of the year.
Who is it?
Alex Caruso. Pretty sure he's coming off the bench. I think the Bulls are gonna make it
Doesn't
far
he
this
start?
year. He's gonna come off the bench. I think he's better off the
Who's
bench. but
starting?
Zach DeMar, Patrick Williams, Ayo. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his name. And then what's his name? Kobe White. Then 5, I think. Caruso off
White
the
is not
bench.
starting.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Kobe White is good as hell. I don't care what anyone says.
But he wouldn't start over Caruso, in my opinion. We'll
He
see.
is starting, bro, over Caruso. That's literally going to happen. So shut up. But anyway, I think Caruso is gonna win 6 minutes.
No, because Caruso averages like 5 points per game.
He can easily average 11, 12 points per game.
He's not
plus
with
his
DeMar taking
defense
50
and
shots,
playmaking.
Levine taking 40 shots, Vucevic
Levine
taking
doesn't
30
take 40
shots.
shots. Levine should be taking 40 shots. DeMar takes all the shots.
Yeah,
So
Mev,
annoying,
I know
bro.
you're a Bulls fan, but I think the Bulls don't have at least the 6th seed by the trade deadline, I think they're gonna blow up that whole team. No offense, they're gonna
Dude,
They
do
should have
what
done that already.
Yeah.
That's actually very possible. Like I do see them trading Zach
Yeah.
in the
That's
near
gonna
future.
happen
But
any day
I'm
now.
gonna cry myself to sleep if that happens. So
I mean, if
let's just hope.
Lonzo
I
was
think we're
healthy,
gonna be good. I don't
that's
care.
if
Levine
Lonzo was healthy,
jerseys right there.
that's a
If
top 5
Lonzo was
seed
healthy,
in the East.
exactly. Before he got hurt, we were the first, second seed the whole season. And
Yeah.
before the All-Star break, and then everything went to shit. So
The Bulls are shit, man.
we'd literally be better with you, Lonzo. Stop crying. Anyway,
Poor Lonzo. I feel bad for Lonzo.
he's
Yeah.
gonna play again, but we
Well,
needed
now
him
it's Rookie
now.
of the Year.
What?
I think I know your answer. Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the year, it's probably going to go to Vic. It's probably going to go to Wemby. But, I mean, there's a lot of really good rookies. Scoot.
Exactly. Chet.
Why can't I think of the Hornets guy off the top of my head right now?
Brandon Miller.
Brandon
Miller.
Miller. You got the Thompson brothers. Guy I'm really high on just because he's on my Cavs is Amani Bates.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Steal the draft.
He did good in
He's not going to
preseason,
win
right?
it.
People were harsh
Yeah.
as hell on Mini Bates. They
Uh,
were saying he's not going to be an NBA player or anything, but he's
Yeah, and
looking
I mean,
good, so
Because he
I'm a
had
fan.
a lot of off the court issues, so it makes sense why he fell. But it's gonna go to Wemby. Like if he can just stay healthy, he's going to be the rookie of the year, and he's gonna be the face of the league once LeBron's gone.
The things that I've already seen him doing in the preseason, imagine what we're in store for the rest of his rookie season.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
insane.
can't wait. He's so
It's
fun
insane.
to watch. Like a lot of Spurs bandwagons are going to come out of the woodwork. Just wait.
No, I hate the Spurs.
I only hate the
Because it's not
Spurs because I
fair
hate
how
Jeremy
they're-
Sohan. But
They shouldn't have got Victor. Like, why should they get Victor? They've already had so many generational talents play for them. Like, how's that any fair?
Yeah, I think I saw you. I think I saw you like tweet about that or like shitting on the Spurs because
I
of
got
that. Like
I
they
got
didn't
cooked
need
because
Vic.
I said they didn't deserve it because they don't.
Well, I mean,
Why not?
they've had a
Because they
couple
should have
bad
given it to a
years.
team who's never had a generational talent. Like that's not fair at all.
like the Hornets.
No,
Yeah,
because
they're
the Hornets,
etc.
the Hornets are once you go to the Hornets, you go crazy. So
Yeah, the Hornets. is a
anyone
prison
else but the
team.
Hornets.
They ain't putting Vic to that.
A lot of NBA teams who've never won, and then they give it to
No, he should.
the Spurs.
The Knicks deserve Victor. Like I don't understand.
It's just like how the Knicks deserve.
Are you
Zion.
saying? Yeah, are you saying the Knicks have never had a generational talent?
No, we have, but like.
So shut up, because you
not
just
like not
you
like
just
top
contradicted
10,
yourself.
Top 15 player generational talent. We haven't.
But where do you
should
rank
win.
Patrick Ewing?
Like they got David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now they have freaking Victor, and everyone knows he's gonna be like one of the greatest ever.
He has GOAT potential.
Okay, we gotta chill, but
No, I mean
It's the truth. Hurts,
nah,
doesn't it?
I don't think that's a stretch. I mean, he obviously has all these expectations going on to him, and if he doesn't reach those, people will be like he's a bust, which is that shouldn't be. But he definitely has that GOAT potential. Just literally off the small stretch of games we've seen him play, he's different on the court, and if he can just stay healthy and improve as his career goes on, that's not a
Yeah.
stretch.
Agreed. He
Well,
just got to bring
I said-
championships.
now people are backtracking on me because I said Victor was gonna be an all-star in his rookie season, and I got cooked, and now everyone's switching up, and now they're gonna act like it was a consensus when everyone was attacking me. So I have all the receipts.
Yeah, you
Did
got
you
to
guys
pull
see
them
it
up.
in
now.
Summer League? Victor had one bad game, and everybody was so like ready to say it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, they were like this dude's ass.
They were calling him a bust already.
For me, I think that Chet will be really good, but he's on a team with like a lot of good players, so
yeah.
he won't average close to as good as stats as Victor.
Yeah, but the rivalry, like Chet versus
What rivalry?
Victor, is just gonna be so fun. What do you mean? What rivalry?
Preseason
This is-
rivalry?
It's gonna
It's
be
the
a
skinny
rivalry
boys.
for years to
The
come.
Skinny boys. They're gonna rule the league at some point.
The unicorn.
The skinny boy rivalry. I'm dying. That's literally it. That's what people are saying this for.
They both stay healthy down the line. Same conference, Western Conference Finals matchup. That's a rivalry that definitely has potential to be one of the best.
Also, do you think the Thunder are making the playoffs? Because the West
It's
is
a-
so stacked, and I got cooked for saying they're not.
It's such a unique position because like they can make the play-in. They made the play-in this year, and their players are so young where they're just going to keep getting better every year. And is this the year where I think they're going to flip the switch and make a deep run? No, I don't think it is. But I think when you take a look at those lower, like when you take a look at the Timberwolves, I think they could be better than the Timberwolves. I think they could be. I'm not going to say I think they could be better than the Warriors because that's kind of crazy. But when you just look at those lower tier teams and you compare them to the Thunder definitely have a chance of making the playoffs and that 8th seed. 7th seed, but definitely playing potential. I do think they're probably going to make the playoffs, but it all depends.
Oh damn! I think I'm the only one then, because I think the
No, I
teams
agree.
100% making the playoffs: Lakers, Warriors, not in any order. Lakers, Warriors, Nuggets. I think the Timberwolves are gonna make the playoffs. The Pelicans.
The Pelicans?
Zion, if Zion's healthy, they're making the playoffs.
Well, OKC's better anyways.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
I don't think
are.
they're better.
They have a good
Respect-
team.
Respect Zion, Ingram, Trey Murphy, McCollum. Anyways, who am I missing? Whatever. I don't think they're making the playoffs.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I mean, it's tough. The West is stacked. Clippers, Mavs. You have all these teams.
Oh my god, I didn't even mention the Clippers, Mavs, Suns,
Timberwolves, Kings. Like, you have so many teams that are going to
Kings
make
too. Oh
the
my god.
playoffs.
Stop, they're not making the playoffs. There's absolutely no way. Absolutely
I
no
mean,
way.
they made it this year, got to the second round. I think at some point during the season, they're going to try and make a move for kind of that third piece. They have a lot of pieces they can move. They have a lot of their own picks that they can move. So anything is possible, but I don't know. The West is so stacked. I think the Thunder, just because they're going to keep getting better and the players that they have now are already so good, it's hard to say they're not going to do it, but at the same time, the West is also really stacked, so you don't really know.
Yeah, for me, I just think they're young, and other teams in the West have more pieces. The Mavs, too. I feel like the Mavs could also not make the playoffs at the same time. The biggest move they made was Grant Williams in the offseason, and they missed the playoffs last year. They're really not a good team overall.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have the offensive firepower with Kyrie and Luka, but you lost guys like Dorian Finney-Smith. That was the defensive anchor, and they missed it last year. So, it's possible. I don't think so, because I think once they kind of get under themselves with the whole Kyrie and Luka duo, I think they should make it. But again, West is so stacked. Who really knows?
It's going to be interesting. What award are we missing? Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year. It's a good one. I think it could go a lot of guys. I mean, the Bucks got Adrian Griffin. Obviously, you have it can go to the teams that are going to be the top dogs in their respective conferences. So, Eric Spoelstra could do it. Joe Mazzulla could do it. Mike Malone could do it. Steve Kerr could do it. But I think when it comes to the Thunder, their coach, Mark, don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's Mark Dagnall. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think he could win it. I think he has, if the Thunder can take that jump, like I said, they could. But who I want to win it, JB Bickerstaff. Bring the Cavs to the promised land. So that's going to be my pick. I'm going to go with JB Bickerstaff.
Well, Thomas Thibodeau is going to win after the Knicks are the first seed.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not, the Knicks
I'm kidding.
won't win anything as long as he's their head coach. I hate Tom Thibodeau
I
so
know.
much.
Everyone hates Tom Thibodeau.
He's
Yeah,
so stubborn.
He's the worst.
My actual pick is Frank Vogel.
Frank Vogel. Okay, for the Suns.
Yeah, I think the Suns are going to be good. I don't think they're going to win it all, but I think they'll be a 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So if you guys already seen, there's some Heat role players that they just got putting up good numbers with that black magic. It's actually creepy. RJ Hampton, this other guy, nobody knows him. But yeah, so maybe Spo can finally win Coach of the Year. I feel like they're just gonna want to give it
It's
to him
crazy
now.
how he's never won.
If they do finish this time in the top 3, he's gonna win. So I'm gonna say Spo. I wanted to say Darvin Ham, but I think I'm gonna go with Spo.
I better not see Darvin Ham with that Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I don't think Darvin Ham's gonna
I'm
get
just
it.
kidding. I was joking, but because he's terrible. But yeah, I'm gonna say Spo.
Good
For the
picks.
Cavs, do you think they're going to make a jump from last season, especially playoff wise?
I mean, I want to say yes as a fan, but when you look at it from a practical standpoint, last year they really needed that 3-and-D wing that they didn't have, which is why I was mad they didn't trade for a guy like Josh Hart and the Knicks got him, because Josh Hart was kind of the X factor that killed us in that first round
Yeah.
series. But I mean, they brought in Max Strus, who is all right, he's good. He's a good
Good
player,
shooter.
but I don't think he's gonna be the momentum
Watch him
shifter.
lose all his talent.
Yeah, I really hope not. He didn't re-up on his contract. He's going to do that after this season, hopefully. But I don't know. If they don't win anything or make a deep push, I could see Donovan Mitchell leaving. But I don't think they're going to make that push as much as people think they might. I hope they do, but I don't think.
I would feel so bad for y'all.
Yeah. I mean, if Amani Bates could become that wing that we need, who can give us
can't play
15 a game.
Defense.
He can't play a defense, but our front court defensively is great. And if our back court, they can tear it up on the offensive side of the ball. So who knows? I don't know. I don't think they're going to take that jump, but I really hope they do.
Yeah, I feel like the Cavs have a really nice core 4, but yeah, the lights were too bright.
Unfortunately, they were. I hate to say it, but
I can't believe he said that.
yeah, that's a classic edit.
At least you got that from the playoffs last season.
Yeah, whatever.
What's,
I
what do you guys think is gonna win Clutch Player of the Year?
Definitely
I
not
don't.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, not Steph. Most unreliable superstar to ever touch a basketball.
Most what?
Unreliable.
Most unreliable superstar to ever touch basketball. That's not bad. It's just look at the stats. It's true. I don't know. Clutch Player of the Year, such a weird award. De'Aaron Fox won it last year.
DeMar won it.
DeMar was there. I don't know. I feel like that's just a hard one to predict. But if I have to go with
Yeah.
one, I'm gonna go with SGA. I think Shea could win it this year.
Oh, good one.
Because he's a ball hawk.
He's clutch nevertheless. That's the name of the
Wait,
game.
let me just say, Shea was ranked 8th in the top 10 player list.
Throw the whole list away.
What do you think about that?
No, I mean, I think that's really valid. Especially, are you referring to like the ESPN top 100 list?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing with that list, like, I think that gets a lot of hate is like people don't know, like, going into next season, that's where like they think they're gonna be ranked, and I think it's completely justifiable. I mean, he was NBA. He was all NBA first team. He averaged like 32 a game. The heart and soul of that Thunder team. I think he's only gonna get better. So I don't think it's blasphemous to put him in the top 10.
Didn't make the playoffs.
I saw him over like Booker and Dame. So that's when I'm like, he's not top 10.
Hell no.
He's definitely top
overrated.
15, but like top 10 could be actually, like you said, if it's like for next season, he probably could be, because I don't see his stats falling. If anything, he's gonna get better. There's a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Dame didn't make the playoffs last year either.
Dame
Devin
put up
Booker.
a good ass numbers too. So
I don't know.
I don't
just
know,
think-
because people always get like slandered for empty stats, but nobody used that against Shea. Like that's just pretty privilege. I'm sorry.
Because I mean, the jump that he did take was kind of crazy, and first team All NBA is nothing to scoff at. They don't just hand that out. So I don't think it's that blasphemous to put him there, especially going into next season where I think the Thunder could take such a big jump.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
honestly,
mean,
we'll see about this.
Agree to
Thunder thing.
disagree, but yeah.
And then, like, if you're looking at it, like, going into next season, Dame joins Giannis, his numbers might take a dip. The Suns got Beal and a bunch of the other role players that people think are good, but are really not that good. So, yeah, the Book's numbers could take a drop. Shea has the same team, and he's only going to get better. So, I think top 10 is not that bad of a spot.
Yeah, it was funny though, because Mikal Bridges was like top 30 or something like that. It was funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, if we're going off in next season, like, I mentioned him as a most improved candidate. I think he's a great two-way player who can kind of elevate that Nets team. Obviously, they made the playoffs last year as like a 5 or 6 seed. I don't remember, but that was because they blew up their whole roster
Yeah.
at the deadline. But I think that Nets team, if Ben Simmons can turn it up, they have a really competitive team that I think would, I say competitive, but I'm going to say their ceiling's like a 6 seed and their floor is like the play-in.
Well, I made a tier list of teams next year. So my title contenders are Bucks, Lakers, Nuggets, Celtics, and Suns.
Okay.
And I think that should be like everyone's. Like, I don't know if I'm missing anyone. The dark horse title contenders are the Heat, just because you have to put the Heat, because like
You never
they
know.
use Black Magic every season.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies, because I think Jaw's gonna miss games, but when he comes back, that's like a really good team in my opinion. The Warriors, even though I think they're pretenders,
You never,
I still
it's the
think,
same
like,
thing. You never
they're
know. They
there.
can still turn it up. Yeah.
and playoff teams, Cavs, Knicks, Hawks, and Kings. I think the Kings are good, but like I don't see them ever
don't
like
see
winning a
chip, yeah.
championship or being a dark horse, especially with Domantas Sabonis playing like Kendrick Perkins in the playoffs. No, seriously, we need to have a discussion about him.
The Kendrick Perkins slander.
Yeah,
just
you're
don't-
ripping into him.
I don't even know. He's just the first person I think about when I want to slander someone. I put the Clippers as a 7 to 10 seed / play-in. They don't really move me because like Russell Westbrook is like the third best player on that team, and Kawhi and PG are just inconsistent. They're getting old and they're always getting injured. Also, Mavs play-in, Timberwolves play-in, and Pelicans play-in. So those are the 4 teams I think are going to be better than the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the Thunder's team is just so good. Like, it's hard for me to say like, oh yeah, those 4 are just miles better, because like the potential that the Thunder team have, they're in like this unique space where like they can be really good. It's just we don't know when they're gonna take that jump, and they could very well take
Yeah.
that jump going into.
But
next
they do
season.
have a really good team.
Yeah.
So I see it. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible.
But again, I don't like the Suns being in your contenders with the other teams you listed. I would put the Suns as probably more of a dark horse.
The reason's because they have such a big 3.
Yeah,
Big
that's the
three.
biggest big 3 in the league.
It's just hard for me because we've seen offensively oriented big threes like that not work out in the past. Like it happened with the Nets. KD, he's still very good, still top 10 player in the league, but he's on the decline. He's not what he was when he was with the Warriors. I also just think they're very top heavy. I think they're the most top heavy team in the league. Like I said before, they brought in a bunch of these role players that a lot of people are hyping up that I don't think are that good. Like Bol, love the guy. He's really not that good.
He's not even getting minutes in preseason.
I don't know.
It's
They
over for
could very
Bol.
well win a championship, because when you have those 3 guys, anything is possible. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Well, before we finish it off, I want to know your playoff prediction, a really early playoff prediction.
Really early playoff prediction. Okay, so we gotta pull one out of the hat here. Let's see. What team do we want? This is it. Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I didn't
There's
prep.
a lot of parity in the league. Like I could see anything happen.
I have the Lakers. Lakers are winning it all.
Lakers are winning it all. Connor, what about
They
you?
just got past the Nuggets, which it went to 4 games only, but every game was close. Like we said, they got better. Bring LeBron to the finals, he's not losing.
I got
again.
the Bucks. I got the Bucks.
The Bucks.
Yeah.
So we're just going
I
off
don't know.
championship. I hate when people pick the Celtics because I just like they always just fail. But I think this is the Celtics year. I think they win it. And I also just don't like the Celtics. But it's like their team is so good. But if the Bucks
did
stay healthy,
improve.
the Bucks win it. But I think this is the Celtics year. But if we want kind of like a hot take, I think the Nets. I think the Nets can make a push.
What?
Okay.
I think the Nets can make a push. I'm not saying they're gonna make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but don't be surprised.
Any
if
team
you
with
see 'em
Ben
in
Simmons
there.
on it is not winning.
Okay, so the Nets, I could see it. They have a lot of good players. They do. They have Mikal Bridges,
the
Dorian
Nets.
Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Ben
It's-
Simmons.
Like if
Cam
Ben Simmons,
Thomas.
if Ben Simmons
Spencer
could take a
Dinwiddie.
Spencer
jump,
Dinwiddie.
if Ben Simmons could take a jump, I'm all for it. I'm on the Nets train because I want
Yeah.
Ben Simmons to do well.
He should start for sure, like as the power forward, but also like point power forward. In my
I mean,
opinion.
if they want to run him at point guard, move Dinwiddie to the 2, McCall at the 3. Like
Yeah.
dangerous roster. You have Nick Claxton, who is one of the best defenders in the league. It's a scary lineup, and they have a bunch of young guys who can get better. So I think they could make a push. They can make a little noise in the Eastern Conference.
So that's your dark horse, the Nets. And your winner is the Celtics. Got
Winner's
you?
the Celtics, unfortunately.
So
But I
my
think
winner's the Lakers, and my dark horse is the Suns.
The
I
Suns
just
cannot
think
be a dark horse.
because nobody actually thinks they're winning. But if a real dark horse, Bulls. I really think
that's a really dark
we could
horse.
get that shit together.
I'm not high
I
on
think
the
we're gonna
Bulls
make
at
a
all.
push. I'm
No
sorry.
offense, Mav.
For me, Bucks winning because they won a championship with a core 3 with Drew, but now they have Dame, who's like a million times better. So I think they'll probably be the first seed, probably make the finals and win. My dark
They
horse.
also got to keep Brooke and Chris Middleton. They're definitely a contender. Top
Yeah, my
3.
dark horse is the Pelicans.
Oh.
That's an even bigger dark horse than what I
I mean-
said. But okay.
It's
If
Zion's
Zion
superstar
stays healthy,
season.
that's a dangerous team.
I think they'll go far in the playoffs. Not win, but like go far in the playoffs. It's gonna be
Yeah.
hard to guard Zion, and we have seen a fully healthy Zion, and now we'll probably see a better version of that since he's a lot older now. I'm like really high on Zion, unlike a lot of people, but I am really high on Zion.
I'm
I
high
think
on
he's
Zion too, but I just don't think the
unstoppable
Pelicans are
scoring
good.
wise. What?
I'm high on Zion too, but I just don't think the Pelicans are good.
Well, we'll come back to this when I'm right and you're wrong.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Sean, for coming on. We hope to have you again.
Yeah, no,
Everyone
for
follow
sure.
Danger Can't on
The funniest
Twitter and
account
TikTok.
on TikTok. I literally die laughing at
Thank
all his
you.
TikToks.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on. This was a pleasure. It was an honor. It was really fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.